Liquidity and how price moves. That is the name of today's discussion. It's going to be a good one, a long one. It's like 20 something slides. So let's get started. By definition, liquidity are areas on a price chart where there are high concentration of orders, okay? And there are two types of liquidity, internal and external. Price is always seeking to fill internal liquidity, and then move to external, and then back and forth, external to internal, internal to external. Price is always moving to one of these two liquidity pools. Internal liquidity is just fair value gaps. So those are three candlestick patterns where the wicks of the first and third candle don't overlap. So same thing here, the wick here and wick here, they don't overlap. That area in the middle is a fair value gap. You can draw a square to kind of highlight them. So what price does is likely to come here, retrace down, filling the imbalance, right? Seeking liquidity pool, and then moving back in its intended direction. External liquidity, or range highs and range lows, swing highs and lows, same thing. What you would do is you take the top of the range and draw a trend line out. Take the bottom, draw it out. It would look something like that. Now, once you have your range, you're gonna look anywhere in the range and find your fair value gaps, which you have one right here. You're gonna draw the square, and now you wait. You wait to see if price comes back into the fair value gap and then out to fill external liquidity. So we filled internal liquidity here, and it plays out towards our external liquidity, which would be our take profit. Our entry would be somewhere in here, right? Right when it fills, this is where we would put our entry, and our take profits down here. Now for an advanced tip, we're talking fib retracements plus premium and discount. A fib retracement is, instead of using the trend line tool, right, and just drawing it out manually, you're gonna go into your trading view or whatever platform you use. You're gonna find your fib retracement tool. You're gonna click and hold at this swing high and pull down to your swing low. Mine looks like this because I already have the settings. If you want the settings I have, they're right here. Usually if it's your first time using it, you're gonna have all of them turned on. It's gonna look absolutely insane, but you're only gonna need these six. These six are gonna be the most important that you use. So once you have your fib retracement drawn out, now you're gonna look for a fair value gap that's in discount. Discount is anything that's above the red line, so above the 50% mark when we're in a downtrend. Right? So you don't want to take a short from here, because if your entry is here, your take profit has to go here. You're not going to make much money, right? You're going to look for an entry that's already above the 50% line, so you can make the most amount of profit when you are going down towards your take profit. So we're going to wait and see if we tap into this fair value gap, which we do. So you can set a limit order at one of these lines. I suggest doing the 0.062. It's a very common area for retracement. So you would set a limit here, right? Your your stop loss would go at one of these levels. So whichever one you would pick, I would normally do like this high here, right? Because the 0.75 and 0.62 are very common to be hit. 7.9 is not that common because it's deep in discount. So you want to keep it right here or even right here. Here's a very, very safe area. So you set the limit, you enter, and you ride it back down. This is very good for very like sniper on entries. You can use this. I use it sometimes. Most of the time I just wait for an inverse fair value gap on a lower time frame. So what I would do is, once we tap into this fair value gap, I would go down into the 1 minute or 2 minute time frame and wait for an inversion. I would enter, and the inversion, that's an extra confluence, right? We want as many confluences as we can, so we know price is now going to reverse. If you just set a limit, it may come up and actually inverse this and continue higher. You can get stopped out. So I prefer to wait until we tap into the fair value gap, get an inversion on a lower time frame, and then go to TP.